Hey guys, Evan Mendoza here. If you give me a quick second, I'm going to walk through my exact program, the triple play, so you know exactly what it looks like and how everything works before we meet together. But as far as the welcome 14-day challenge, so this is ideally the must-watch later video, laying expectations and rules. But as far as the step 1, step 2, and everything like that, what that looks like is basically the 14-day document. Your son's going to be able to make a copy and do all that fun stuff, so that way he's able to check in with everything and keep tabs on where he's at. Of course, I'll have access to this document as well. Your son's going to join into the Slack community, which I'll cover here in a second. He's going to do a couple of tasks before he schedules his onboarding call. The onboarding call is quite literally a Zoom call that we're about to hopefully be speaking. Your son's also going to do daily sprint work, and the idea of this is about 15 minutes a day, just building that consistency, so that way we can actually, get that momentum going in the right direction. As far as building out the outreach system, so it's one of my favorite parts about the whole program, but basically we have this email template. Your son's going to fill that out and, basically send it back over to me. I'll also proofread everything, which is really important that your son sounds like a baseball player. Also, the college list, that's something that I help out with as well. You'll basically go through this process, and one of the best things that we do is when we actually send out these emails, as you can see, we can see if they've clicked, opened. If it hasn't been opened, we can of course reattempt. If they responded, that's one of my favorite parts about the whole program, and of course we're going to install that same template for your son as well. We need to highlight video, of course, so there's a video editing crash course on how to do that. And of course, we'll go through like those steps of what that would look like. As far as going back into the portal, of course, there's the workout programs, which I'll cover here in a second. We have the course material as far as the college commitment blueprint. We also have the velo throwing program and arm care course, and then also the pro defense course. So if I'm just going to show you guys my teaching style for here in a second, up here, as you can kind of see, as I was playing, so I'm up here talking through examples of what we're actually walking through right here. These are like 2-second looping videos, so that way you're able to implement exactly what you're seeing into your routine. And I would say a lot of my players are visual learners. I'm a visual learner. Your son's probably a visual learner as well. As far as like the gym workouts, for example, they are all mobile friendly, so your son's going to be able to download them, open them up on his phone. And this is in season, for example, phase 1, March, Monday. It's going to be an upper body lift, and all of these are like clickable links, by the way. So we take into account the volume your son should be doing in season versus out of season. And then, for example, if your son doesn't know what hamstring tantrums look like, you'll click a video, it's going to pull up a video explaining exactly how to do that movement, so your son never feels lost in this whole process. So that basically, in a nutshell, is the portal. Now, this is the Slack community, so it's basically a communication tool, kind of like Discord, kind of like WhatsApp. It's just really a way for, like, for example, Aiden, sending me some screenshots of his from his 14-day challenge, some of his sprint work, so I can give him some feedback. And this is just basically some of the things that we communicate back and forth. Aiden sent over his email template. So these are all things that we need to stay accountable of doing the thing, whatever the thing may be inside the program. I also love Slack because I can do voice memos to all of my students. And for example, like Aiden, he just got his very first offer, which was really awesome. I was able to share some excitement with him. But yeah, guys, this is what the community looks like. Of course, this is how I hold my students accountable. I also check in with my students every single Friday. There's an accountability form that's sent out every Sunday. So this is the way that we're able to communicate. Also scheduling out things like onboarding calls, launch call, check-in calls, roadmap calls. Like these are all calls that I have created and segmented out inside my program. But of course, your son has the liberty to be able to schedule out one-on-one calls whenever he feels like it's needed. For example, I had a player from Southern California make a trip over to Harvard for an official visit. He wanted to kind of like just shake out the nerves and have like a mock interview kind of with a college coach. And I pretended to be a college coach. So that way he had that understanding of like what to expect before he knocked it out of the park during that visit. So this is the communication tool that we use, which is Slack. And that's basically a rundown about my entire program. Hopefully you guys have a better understanding on how we operate. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you guys very soon.